Hi, I'm your host, Joe Fagan, and welcome to this edition of Discover West Orange. This monthly program, sponsored by the Downtown West Orange Alliance, is dedicated to raising awareness and preserving our rich local history. Each year, countless hopeful look to our friend the groundhog to see if he will see his shadow or not, indicating if spring will soon be on its way. Here in West Orange, however, we have our own telltale sign that winter is drawing to a close. Each March, the familiar green stripe down Main Street magically comes alive as the annual West Orange St. Patrick's Day Parade takes center stage and speaks louder than any groundhog could about the arrival of spring. The parade is now in its 68th year and is steep in history, with special significance this year for me. I have the honor and privilege of having been chosen as one of 3 Deputy Grand Marshals, along with Carol Divatorcia and Terry McHugh. But the real story of this year's parade is the Grand Marshal, Carol Corcoran. 40 years ago in 1979, her mother was the Grand Marshal and was the first woman Grand Marshal for any St. Patrick's Day parade in New Jersey. In many ways, she was a pioneer and paved the way for Carol today. But the story doesn't stop there. 20 years ago, her father was selected as Grand Marshal in 1999. So now 20 years later, Carol will lead the same parade, literally following in both her parents' footsteps. I first met Carol when her family lived on Cherry Street and when she was only about 2 years old. It was also the first time I met her mother and ever heard an Irish accent. It wasn't long after that her family lived directly across the street from me on Moore Terrace. So in many ways, I watched her grow up and couldn't be more prouder than to be marching with her in this year's parade as she leads the way, and I hardly feel worthy. Joining us in the studio today will be Carol with her parents as they represent 3 generations of parade Grand Marshals. So stay tuned as we discover West Orange. Each March, the familiar green stripe down Main Street comes alive, marking the route of the West Orange St. Patrick's Day Parade. This March 10th, 2019 marks the 68th year for this annual event that has grown to become an important part of West Orange tradition today. This year has added significance for me because I was chosen as one of the 3 Deputy Grand Marshals along with Carolyn Divatorcia and Terry McHugh. The 3 of us will be marching behind the Grand Marshal, Carol Sharkey Corcoran, who will be leading the way down Main Street. West Orange is a community of individuality spread across the spectrum of many ethnic backgrounds, all with rich cultural contours. These elements all seemingly blend together effortlessly when the Irish spirit captures everyone as countless spectators flock to West Orange to witness firsthand the premier parade of the St. Patrick's Day season.
Best looking drum corps around right there.
In 1976, an official parade committee was organized under the leadership of Patrick J. Melvin. It was through his vision and efforts that the modern-day West Orange St. Patrick's Day Parade evolved. In 1977, the parade committee was officially incorporated, which allowed for the expansion of both the financial and physical needs of the parade. Today, many children and grandchildren of the original parade committee members have proudly served in a similar capacity. I spoke with a granddaughter of Frank O'Hara and the current chairperson of the West Orange St. Patrick's Day Committee as she reflected on a few of her thoughts. Elaborate a little bit on some of behind the scenes what goes on with the parade committee.
Okay, Joe, yeah, like you said, we do meet majority of the time all year round. Our committee, though, will meet in our executive board will meet during the summers to discuss the upcoming season, where we then try to focus on what direction we're going to take with the parade and upcoming events and things of that nature.
Tell us a little bit about the actual function of the Parade Committee and its separation from West Orange.
Sure. We are a private organization, the West Orange St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee. We're incorporated. We are also a 501c3. I guess back in the day when my grandfather was one of the co-founders of the parade, they decided to have it here in West Orange.
I'm here with the Grand Marshal of the 68th Annual St. Patrick's Day Parade, Carol Sharkey Corcoran. Carol, this parade certainly is steep in tradition, and it has some added significance for you this year. Certainly it's a great honor to be a Deputy Grand Marshal, but a great honor to be the Marshal, the Grand Marshal. So tell us about some of the added significance here for you.
Thank you so much for having me, Joe. And first of all, this is such a great honor to be sharing with you, my former neighbor, we grew up together across the street on Moore Terrace. So it's such an honor to be here with you. This added significance of this is being a part of this parade committee. I've been able to see this parade grow monumentally over the last 30 years that I've been involved. The special part of this parade for me this year is it's going to be the 40th anniversary since my mom was selected as the first woman Grand Marshal to lead a parade in New Jersey. And also it's the 20th anniversary that my father was Grand Marshal. So in 1979, 1999, and now in 2019.
The first official West Orange St. Patrick's Day Parade occurred in our nation's bicentennial year on March 14th, 1976. The first Grand Marshal was one-time West Orange Mayor and former New Jersey Insurance Commissioner, the late James Sheeran. The parade has since grown exponentially and is now considered to be the standard bearer of all St. Patrick's Day parades in New Jersey. The parade now attracts thousands of spectators and includes marchers from Irish American groups throughout New Jersey, as well as bagpipers and traditional Irish dancers. Do you recall what it was like when your mother was first selected? What kind of atmosphere was there? What kind of atmosphere of excitement was there in your house and her serving as the first Grand Marshal of any parade in New Jersey?
So I really didn't understand fully what this meant and the significance of her being the first woman to lead a parade. But now I feel that weight on my shoulders now, but it's a very proud weight to hold.
I'd like to ask my parents, who are my co-chiefs of staff, Alfie and Helena, to please come forward. In 1979, my mother was selected as the first Grand Marshal to lead a St. Patrick's Day parade in New Jersey. I was only 9 years old then, and I didn't realize that moment in time would make such a huge impact on my life and lead me down the path to where I stand today. My dad led the parade as Grand Marshal in 1999 as only he could, a true Irish gentleman. My parents are two of the most astonishing people I know. Their love and support of their grandchildren and now great-grandchild is truly remarkable. The word no is not in their vocabulary when it comes to us, and their generosity, even with the littlest of things, is endless. I am blessed to have them with me here today, and now I follow in their footsteps and their legacy, and I hope they are as proud of me as I am of them. Thank you again, and may St. Patrick's blessings shine down upon us Sunday, March 10th. Have a lovely evening.
What do you think is going to be the most prevalent thing on your mind as you march up Main Street and you see the American and the Irish flag there and you see your parents and your family beaming with pride? What do you think your takeaway is going to be at the end of the day?
Just in an amazement. I'll probably be floating up Main Street, growing up in West Orange, coming down to Main Street, going to Jenny Dunkel Pool, going to Fink's corner store to get our candies, and just growing up in this whole community, and now to be part of such the largest event in town. It's a day I probably will never forget, my family won't forget, and it's just something that will be part of me for the rest of my life.
Terry, it's certainly a great honor to march in this parade. There are many people before us, and there's certainly many after us, but what does this personally mean to you?
Personally, Joe, this is a tremendous honor for myself and my family. We're a big Irish family. We've been marching in the West Orange Parade for years, and to be the first McHugh to be a deputy is just a tremendous honor.
Now tell me a little bit about the selection process, how this honor was bestowed upon you.
Well, I was asked by Jim Fallon, the president of the Hibernians, if I would accept a nomination from the AOH and the Shillelaghs jointly. I talked it over with my wife, Mary Ellen, and my kids, and we knew that it was going to be a tremendous amount of work, but we decided to accept the nomination, and we decided we were going to be all in if I had the privilege to be selected.
I received a note from Tom Devlin Sr. this week, congratulating me and telling me to enjoy every minute. He said, "This is every Irish person's dream, and this year, your dream has come true." I don't think I can sum things up any better than that. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on March 10th. Thank you.
What's going to be most prevalent on your mind as you're marching up Main Street?
I think just sharing this day, like I said, with so many family and friends that will be marching along with me, and other friends and relatives that have gone before us and won't be marching alongside with me. I'm sure that'll be in the forefront of a lot of people's minds.
Who stand before you on broad shoulders in a room abound with endless love of family and heritage. We have been selected as the standard bearers to carry forward this great Irish tradition. In the discharge of our duties, we bridge the gap between the past and the future as we forge a path through the present. We must not and will not fail in this noble endeavor. We represent the profound Irish pride brought forth to the shores of this great land by our ancestors. They are remembered here today as their voices echo past us down the vast corridor of time. We are their sons and daughters. We are their brothers and sisters. We are them, and they are us. I would like to say, be the peace you wish to find in the world. Never underestimate the lasting impact of a kind smile. Find the time to laugh and spread humor, and understand that people are not perfect, but love them anyway. Preach the message of Christ every day. Use words only when necessary. May God smile upon our journey as He reveals to us the two most important days of our life, the day we were born and the day we figure out why. Thank you.
I am not going to speak long. I just want to thank the Women of Irish Heritage. I want to thank the Parade Committee. Carol, I am so excited that I am doing this with you, and I'm so happy I made friends with Terry and Joe. I'm new to West Orange, so I am so honored that everyone is so friendly and welcoming, and I just know that I will be friends with people a lot longer than March 10th. So thank you so much.
I'm here with Carolyn Divatorcia. We just had the parade investiture ceremony, which is the official swearing in of our duties as Deputy Grand Marshal. Carolyn, explain to us a little bit what this day means to you.
It's very surreal. It's unbelievable that I have only been a member of the Women of Irish Heritage for 5 years. I did not grow up in West Orange. I really don't have any history with West Orange. So the fact that I was nominated as a deputy is such a big honor for me, and everyone has been extremely friendly, and marching in it when I was in high school and a little older, and now being a part of it is a dream come true. It's amazing.
So you're no stranger to the parade on Main Street here.
No, not at all.
But as in the capacity of Deputy Grand Marshal, what's going to be on your mind as you're walking up Main Street? What reflections are you going to have?
I'm going to have reflections of growing up. My family is very Irish Catholic. My dad passed away 5 years ago, and I think he's going to be proud.
Your dad certainly would be very proud. I know it's a difficult, even all these years later, to still talk about it.
I know.
But that's what the parade's about. It's about family tradition, and it stirs up these emotions.
Yes.
And you exemplify the emotions that it stirs up, and there's no question about it. Your dad, my dad, all our Irish ancestors will be looking down and smiling upon us as we do those, as we do them proud. Any final thoughts, Carolyn, would like to share with us?
Just having my family be there to support me. I'm the youngest of 8. We're a very close family. My mom is my role model, the strongest woman I've ever known. My husband and my children are my life, and having them be there to celebrate with me just means the world to me.
Well, it's an honor, Carolyn, to share in this this parade with you, the 68th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Joe.
And congratulations.
Thank you, you too. Thank you.
Thank you. If anyone would like to contact the show, you can do so online. Here is my email address. It's very simple to remember, Joseph Fagan, my name, at westorangehistory.com. Or if you prefer the old-fashioned way, you can contact me via the Downtown West Orange Alliance at 66 Main Street in West Orange, and of course that's the same address as West Orange Town Hall. We're back in the studio here, and we have 3 generations of Grand Marshals for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I am a Deputy Grand Marshal, so I am not wearing my sash. I want the spotlight to shine on these 3 individuals here. Now, Carol, these are your parents. Please introduce them to our audience here.
Certainly. This is my mom, Helena. She was Grand Marshal in 1979. And my dad, Alfie, he was Grand Marshal in 1999.
Now, as I say, I grew up across the street from them. I knew they had first names, but they were always Mr. and Mrs. Sharkey to me, so I'm not comfortable calling them by their first name. Now, Carol, I have a brother-in-law, John Madden, who will also be marching with me in the parade as Deputy Grand Marshal, and he was first-generation Irish of his family. So over the last 20 years, I've come to know what that means. Now, you're also first-generation Irish, born in this country. So can you elaborate for our audience a little bit and relate to them, certainly better than I could, on what first-generation Irish means?
First-generation Irish means that I have such a pride in my parents coming from Ireland, leaving the port of Cove in County Cork when they were 17 and 21, and leaving the only family and home that they knew, and venturing off onto a passenger ship and coming to the New York and having to depart and start a whole new life here. And it's to now understand and realize what they have built for our family is something that can hardly be expressed in words.
Yeah, it's so evident. You know, I'm 5th generation Irish, and you know, by the time it gets to the 5th generation, it kind of certainly we have a great amount of Irish pride and heritage that we celebrate, but nothing in comparison to your experience. And as I say, I've seen that through the eyes of my brother-in-law. I've certainly seen it through the eyes of your family growing up on Moore Terrace. Now, in the piece here, we've seen a little bit of your investiture speech. It was so engaging. It was so dramatic. Your parents were there. What does that mean to you? That, you know, 40 years later, your mother, who paved the way in many ways for you to be a Grand Marshal of the St. Patrick's Day Parade, you've been involved in this all your life. And I know I asked you this in the piece as well, what this means to you. But now we're less than 2 weeks away from the parade here. So what are your thoughts as we're getting as the time is drawing closer? You know, what effect and impact this is not having only on you, but you and your family?
Well, I was only 9 when my mom was the first woman Grand Marshal in the tri-state area. And my dad, I was a new mom. My son, Michael, who's now 20, he was only a few weeks old, I should say. And when she was Grand Marshal, I was at that young age of 9. I didn't realize the impact that it would have on me. But to watch her lead that parade with such dignity and grace, and then to watch my dad lead the parade 20 years later as a true Irish gentleman. It's just astounding to me to see the people on the streets waving and clapping and just the joy that really encompasses me it's almost overwhelming, to say the least.
It certainly is, and I think that it's probably going to take some time to process this because, you know, I've been to the St. Patrick's Day Parade. You've mentioned on several occasions now that you've grew up with this parade. You know, I show up for the parade, I maybe march in it, and like, oh, great, see you guys next year. But that's not at all the case. It's a year in planning. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. I am aware of that now because I am a Deputy Grand Marshal. And, you know, you said something to me on Friday night. We were at an event that, you know, for the first couple of years of your life, when your parents were here, that you just thought everybody was Irish because you lived in the Irish community and really didn't venture outside of that. You know, so what does that mean that, you know, everybody's Irish and, you know, you kind of thought, you know, nothing existed beyond the world of Irish?
Well, growing up in the West Orange Lourdes area, it was so exciting because every weekend there was something to do. We had picnics, festivals. We would watch my brothers play Irish Gaelic football. So there was always something to do, and it was always we were always surrounded by the Irish community. And then came Parade Day. And being involved in that with the committee that is so hardworking and dedicated. We're now led by our chairperson, Sheila Roth-Parisi, who has done an exceptional job of really taking this parade to the next level. And we're evolving and including so many in our community to come and march and really celebrate St. Patrick, but also celebrate West Orange that day. And it has now, as I said, it's grown into more than just being Irish. It's being part of something so special in this community.
Well, it truly is. And the St. Patrick's Day Parade, I mean, the West Orange community is a community full of individuality across the ethnic spectrum. And, you know, it's with rich cultural contours. But on St. Patrick's Day Parade, the community comes out in total support because everybody's Irish on that day. You know, before we close, you know, my sister mentioned something to me yesterday. You know, I'm certainly a couple years older than you, and I like to say that the first time I met you, you were probably no bigger than my granddaughter is today. And, you know, I was out of the house, but my sister said that, you know, she spent a lot of time going to Irish dances with you. You know, you know, what was that like? I mean, all these Irish dances, all this Irish music. Did you even know that music existed outside of the world of Irish?
No, I think I said in my speech at the investiture, most girls my age knew Rick Springfield and Leif Garrett. I knew all the Irish rebel songs about an Irish, free, united Ireland. But it was so fun because I got to meet other kids that shared the same cultural values that I did, and knowing their parents and those children growing up in that environment, it was really something special. And your sister Patty, I remember her taking me up to the reservation. She would take me for walks with Gail Chase, and it was just it was great being a kid in West Orange, walking down to Ginny Dunkel Pool and going to Finks and for candy and going to Papa Mo's for a slice. There's nothing like being a kid growing up in West Orange, and it continues that. I see that now with the children and social media now. Still great pride in West Orange, and it continues.
And, you know, it gives us a deeper sense of appreciation. And I was just saying to your mother before that, you know, we wonder where the time has gone. But the time is soon upon us now that the St. Patrick's Day Parade will be here. And for the Downtown West Orange Alliance, before I go, I want to thank you for joining us here on set. I was a little ahead of myself, but we'll see you at the parade. But for the Downtown West Orange Alliance, I'm Joe Fagan, and I'll see you on Main Street at the parade. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much.